Hey everyone, welcome back to BrowncoatNerd. Today we are finally getting an update on my Rock Island Armory 1911 A1FS. I got called out by Patrick Mills on my review of this gun that came out about 5 years ago. I had specific plans for this gun. I'm not completely done with it, but I kind of never gave you guys a follow-up, and I said I would. Unlike my AK Lynx 12 video where I'm like milking that like crazy every little upgrade, even though I don't know what I'm going to stick with, I'm doing a video. Should have done that with this one apparently because did some stuff to it, kind of forgot about it, and yeah, got called out. So thank you, Patrick. Reminded me I need to get this out and just hurry up and finish it. I don't have that much left. So what this is an RIA 1911 A1FS. It is their standard 1911 with the GI style sights. It's not really an A1 clone, as we can see the port there's not right. Originally it came with a flat backstrap as well. Real quick, empty mag, empty chamber. So I wasn't really trying to make a clone proper gun out of this. What I wanted to do, and really how I ended up with this gun, is because of this lady right here. I was talking to my wife, I think at the time actually fiance, and I mentioned to her that I was like, you know what, I would like to get, a black and white picture of you so I can put them on some Sweetheart grips, put them on a 1911. He explained to her what Sweetheart grips were, which real quick, if you don't know, I believe it started in World War I, really popular in World War II. Soldiers would carve plexiglass out of any kind of scrap they could find, typically from shot down aircraft, and would make clear panel grips. And they would put pictures of their family from home or their friends, very commonly their girlfriends, hence the name Sweetheart grips. Obviously, these are not original Sweetheart grips. You can find them. They're very pricey. But at the time on Amazon, this was 5 years ago, 5+ years ago. So I don't know if you can still find them. I'm sure you can find them on eBay or elsewhere online. But you could buy kind of newer, quote-unquote, Sweetheart-style grips. It was just a thick plastic. It wasn't, like aircraft acrylic or anything. I will say it does fatten the grips up quite a bit, which is definitely one downside. So one year, I believe it was for Christmas, she bought me a set of the clear Sweetheart grips. She got them off of Amazon. Not very expensive at all. And she's like, hey, I got these. I'll have our good friend Chelsea take pictures of her and get the black and white pictures. And I remember she was kind of like, well, go get your 1911. I'm kind of curious how these clear grips will look. And I was like, well, now I have to go buy a 1911. So got in a little bit of trouble for that one, but not too bad. Especially making up for it because I'm putting, grips with her picture on them. So after our good friend Chelsea took some pictures, I think they came out great. Threw these in the Sweetheart grips. And yeah, I am very happy with how they came out. Of course, another thing I see very popular online, putting your favorite anime babe or whatever, and there's some Betty Page or whatnot. But this is the route I decided to go with. So the gun I was kind of wanting to build was kind of a faux World War II era 1911, not trying to be, authentic with it in any way, shape, or form. But that's the vibe I definitely want to present it with. The mag it came with, I believe, was an ACT mag. It was a +1 round mag. So it actually stuck out a little bit. And that bit was plastic, so that looked very modern and goofy. Didn't really want that. Also didn't have the greatest luck with that mag. This one here, I bought additional 2 flush fit mags. It's a Zenith mag. I bought this years ago, I think from Liberty Tree Collectors. I think it was just some old new stock stuff they had lying around. This mag is proven very well. And then also somewhere I have a new old stock, I believe it's a USGI flush fit mag. That one also no issues. It fits in there a little rough, but it functions just fine. Of course, this one fits in there just fine too. So I typically run it with that Zenith mag, so we don't have that extended bumper there. Another thing I did was I got rid of the flat backstrap that this originally came with, and it was like a hard rubber material. One, I'm kind of going for the A1 aesthetics, so I definitely want the arched backstrap on there. Two, I personally prefer arched backstraps. I've only taken this out, I believe, twice with the new arched backstrap and the Sweetheart grips on there and shot it. But I could tell right away that the way this gripped, I was like, oh yeah, that is much, much better in my hand than that flat backstrap. This is made by Hogue. I got this one off of eBay. I cannot remember how much. It was pretty darn cheap, though. It's made of aluminum, so it's a little bit heavier than the original hard rubber one that came out of here, but not much. And it just came with the mainspring housing. It didn't come with any new springs or anything like that, which is one of the things I plan on doing here as well. Probably put some Wilson Combat with the little safety and trigger spring, as well as changing out the hammer spring. Probably change out the recoil spring. I was thinking about getting one of those little rubber buffers, but then I was like, you know what? It's rubber. Even though you're not going to see it and it's just going to be internal, I'm probably not going to do that. Once again, I'm not trying to make a true clone, but almost like maybe an alternate history era A1 is what I'm going for. I don't really 100% know. Another thing I definitely want to do is at the very least touch up the front sight with paint. I don't think I'm going to put any paint on the rear sight. I imagine I'm just going to put a little bit of white paint on the back half of that ramp there. So, I know in that original review of this gun, I mentioned I had plans for this, and I was going to update you guys. And I didn't lie. I didn't get rid of the gun. I still have it. I've just have been dragging my feet and getting distracted with other projects very easily. So I did plan on giving you a video on this once it was completely done. However, seeing it's taken me 5 years only to get as far as changing out the grip panels and the mainspring housing, I figured it was probably a good idea just to go ahead and give you an update, because God knows when I'll be coming out with that view with the new springs and how it shoots and all of that. So, yeah, thank you again, Patrick, for calling me out. I definitely, this was an update I did need to do. But I'm pretty happy with it. If you've got a wife or girlfriend and she's distracted with how much you pay attention to your guns, man, get a 1911, throw some pictures over on there. Can't hurt. One thing that is worth pointing out, like I said, I've only shot this twice. I know one time, I want to say I actually ended up shooting like 150 rounds. I went out with a neighbor of mine that's always wanted to shoot a 1911, and we were getting ready to move, so I was like, it's now or never, buddy. Did get some slight discoloration up here, which I was very curious about how the picture was going to hold up. Maybe we got a little bit here too. It's sometimes if you get like just in the right direct sunlight, you can really see where it's kind of grayed up some. Which I was very curious about that. Now, when you put these pictures in here, they do come with a little flat black plastic piece. So the picture's not directly up against the frame, but rather sandwiched between this little plastic piece and the grip itself. So it's got a little bit of protection away from the burnt gunpowder and stuff. But I knew there was going to at least be some getting in there. A little bit of discoloration I'm actually okay with. Once again, kind of giving it a little bit of a weathered look. Same reason I'm not terribly upset about these marks on there, which aren't coming up as well as you can see them in real life. I kind of want this to look like a used gun. Now, I don't want it to look like a beat to shit gun, but I want it to look like something that actually gets used, So, a little bit of discoloration on the photos I am okay with. So, like, all together, I've shot less than 200 rounds, because I know that second time I went out, I feel like it was only a couple mags, so we'll say around 200 rounds or less, with the pictures in there. And like I said, we did get a little bit of discoloration. So with heavy use, at what point will that stop? Does it stop, or does it just keep degrading? I'm not really positive on that. you know, worst case scenario, we've got the negatives. We can print off some more. However, you know, we got a lot of good pictures out of that session. Chelsea's a very good photographer. I'm really happy with the ones that we ended up with. So that is my update on my RIA. I still have it. Didn't forget about it. Well, maybe I did forget about it, but I got some stuff done to it. And eventually, maybe in another 5 years, we will get another update on this with me changing out the springs and how it feels shooting after that. You know, that painting, the sight, I don't think I plan on doing too much more to that. That's pretty much the extent that I was going to play around with this guy. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Patrick, for calling me out. If you guys like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Don't forget to check me out on Rumble as well as Instagram. And of course, as always, stay safe and stay shiny.